welcome back to another English episode of the podcast. I'll give a little story before getting to the episodes. A story time. So basically, about a few weeks ago, at around 8 p.m., I have excruciating stomach pain. So bad. I literally had the worst stomach. I've never had worse stomach pain in my life. I'm sweating my full bodies, like covered in sweat. I was like crawling to the bathroom. That's how sick I was. I took some pills to help in my digestion, but none of it really worked out, unfortunately. It lasted about 4 to 5 hours. No, almost 6 hours, I think. In fact, I still didn't feel 100% recovered the following day. The pain was so intense to the point where I couldn't even sit or lie down properly for almost the entire night. Like, all I could do was just just do like a little self-abdominal massage, focus on breathing, inhale, exhale, constantly sip on water, and patiently wait for my discomfort to ease. Well, obviously, this isn't the first time I had these cramps. I feel like it seems to happen once or twice a year without fail. Like, I vividly remember last year experiencing the same agony, which was completely debilitating that I had to take a sick day off. I'm not gonna lie, it was god-awful. But thankfully, this time, it wasn't as severe as last time, but the pain was still intense. So when I was in the midst of my pain, I sort of decided to figure out what the actual root cause of these issues, because it was just so hard for me to fully comprehend it, because, you know what I had for dinner that day? I had an egg soup. And 10 minutes into it, the pain immediately kicked in. Imagine your body like having a bad reaction to egg soup. Hello? I'm trying to do good things for my body. I'm trying to have like food that I could easily digest. Like, what the F is up with that? Like, if I was eating a burger and gave me a diarrhea, of course it gives me a diarrhea. But no, I am eating egg soup. The amount of food that gives me stomach pain is like really sucks. It almost like life-ruining sucks. The majority of the food I eat on a frequent basis hurts my stomach. For example, sushi. It absolutely rips up my stomach part, which is such a recent thing. It never used to be like that. I used to love sushi. Sushi has always been my favorite food. I'm sucker for sushi, but for some reason, at some point, it started causing discomfort. I guess it's because cold. I think I have a lot of resistance, things like cold food, like ice cream. Ice cream messes up my stomach, but I eat it anyway because I like it, though I try not to consume too much in a day. Meat, particularly pork, messes up my stomach if I overeat it. It never sat well with me, but I do enjoy it because it's delicious. Ramen. Oh, ramen. Wait, maybe ramen caused my tummy ache. Okay, here's the thing. So basically, the day before I had a tummy ache, I already felt a little minor discomfort after having ramen for lunch. I started to feel my tummy rumbling, and I had a full bathroom trip for the rest of the day. Thus, there's a chances that the reason I had stomach cramps is because of ramen, not because of egg soup. Well, I think I'm kind of convinced of it, but even then, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with having ramen because I didn't eat too much. I only had one packet, but I speculate it might have triggered my tummy issues due to its spiciness. It was actually quite spicier than the regular kind. However, I didn't even anticipate being problematic considering I have a pretty high tolerance for spice. So I'm still somewhat confused by it because it would make sense if I consume something like potentially harmful or prone to food poisoning, like a raw fish or food left out too long. But none of those applied in my case this time, right? So perhaps ramen intrinsically doesn't agree with me. Maybe my body doesn't really like it. Because ramen is such a heavy and greasy food, and I feel guilty at times after eating too much, so maybe ramen is not good for me. I shouldn't have had it. I don't know. Ever since I gone through such a turbulence with my tummy, I've had second thoughts about my diet, my whole diet. I realized I really need to take care of my diet, be mindful of what I put into my body. I've always been trying to eat a balanced diet by avoiding any junk food or food delivery. However, I'm only human. When I'm lazy and lack motivation, I skip cooking and just make do with some junk food. So I think the key is to focus on eating as balanced as possible, but also having fun, Because another big piece of my wellness diet is having fun, okay? So on that note, I wanted to walk you through my comfort foods that makes me happy and my tummy happy. Some of them are quite healthy, some of them are just purely my comfort foods. All the foods I'm going to mention here are based on my personal taste, okay? So let's not waste time. Let's get right into it. My first comfort food is PB&J. I am a sucker for peanut butter. I've been obsessed with it since I can remember. Peanut butter brings a lot of joy to my life. It completely elevates my appetite. Personally, I don't love alternate nut butters. I don't love an almond butter and jelly sandwich. I'm not into that. I actually tried it once when I was in LA because the curiosity got to me. I bought a mixed nut butter, which is type of the nut butter that has the oil separate on the top. And if you all know how hard it is to mix, every time I try to mix it, I was struggling so hard to try not to drip it on my clothes or my countertop, which is so inconvenient. That actually influenced my preference for peanut butter itself. When it comes to peanut butter, I do prefer smooth over crunchy because I think crunchy peanut butter is very hard to spread right onto a sandwich. I think as a crunchy peanut butter is really difficult to spread, especially if you use the one that's cold coming out of the fridge or something. So I always go with the smooth one. I'm gonna share my favorite PB&J combo. My ultimate, most delicious peanut butter and jelly combo is white bread, number 1. Number 2, the jam. Mine is Smucker's Concord Grape Jam. And then my peanut butter, my all-time go-to is Jif Creamy or Skippy Natural. I love both of them. When it comes to ratio, I've seen some online debates about PB&J ratio. Obviously, it really depends on personal taste, but my idea, this is purely based on my personal taste, okay? But my idea, a PB&J has to be on 2 separate slices of bread. It has to have the same equal ratio on every single bite. And yeah, that's my typical... No, I almost forgot. I have to mention this. The most important final step is I toast my bread. I put the bread into the toaster oven, toasting for a few minutes, inside and out. Then the bread gets really toasty and crunch and crackly, but the jam gets really nice and melty. So that's my typical PB&J combo. Next, bibimbap. Hands down, bibimbap is one of the great dishes of the world. The beautiful thing about it is that anyone can enjoy how they want. If you need some fat, you can add some meat, such as grilled beef. If you're vegetarian, you can use tofu with a bunch of veggies like spinach, bean sprouts, carrots, cucumbers, zucchini, and mushrooms, whatever. And then assemble everything on fluffy white rice. And then place a nice fried egg right in the center. Add a splash of sesame oil, which is non-negotiable. Garnish with seaweed. Put some gochujang, bibimbap sauce on the top. Sprinkle sesame seeds. And then boom. That's how you make perfect, traditional, gorgeous bibimbap. What I love the most about bibimbap is that you don't need extra side dishes, right? You can get all the nutritious elements from one bowl, which is phenomenal. And if I have to live off of one food for the rest of my life, it'll be bibimbap. Next, this might be a little bit unpopular opinion, but I love natto. Natto is such an underrated food. It is something that you either love it or you don't, right? People around me find it weird that I like to eat natto, but what I like the most about natto are the health benefits the food gives you. I love eating it, not because I find it delicious, but because it's healthy. It's incredibly nutritious, and when I eat it, my tummy really likes it. A lot of people say that they hate the smell of it, but I don't know why people are hating on it. It doesn't really smell that bad, or even bad at all. I mean, the texture-wise, I kind of get it because it's very slimy and stinky. But the taste-wise, there's not a lot of flavor in it, which makes it even more enjoyable. So yeah, I don't think there's any reason to hate it. I mean, you never need to try it if you're brave enough, but I swear it doesn't taste that bad. I'm gonna share my favorite natto recipe and move on. This is how I make toast in the morning. On a thick slice of bread, I'll add a slice of cheese. Into my toaster oven it goes. While it's cooking, I'm gonna prepare the natto. I'll add the sauce that comes with natto, and give it a good mix until it reaches its stinky and sliminess. When the toast is nice and toasty, take it out and spread all over the natto on top. Then final touch, egg fried, sunny side up, of course. Put on the egg fried right in the center and splash some sesame oil. And that's it. That's my go-to natto toast recipe. Next, gnocchi. I'm a texture girly. I love food when it's like crunchy outside, but the inside is like gooey. You know? There's something about gnocchi that has duality of them. It's incredible. I definitely got to try the authentic gnocchi when I was in Italy. I've tried it homemade gnocchi. I've also tried a pesto gnocchi in Rome, which was absolutely delectable. It was super savory, it was super tender. The inside is like bouncy and melts in your mouth. Oh my god. My mouth is watering right now. Also, the fact that gnocchi is made of potato really makes me calm. There's something about gnocchi that has soothes my tummy. You know, I mean, such an intangible feeling, but gnocchi is so much comfort food for me. Last but not least, bean sprout soup, aka 콩나물국. As a Korean growing up in a Korean household, 콩나물국 was like an essential soup. I think it's one of the low maintenance dish in Korea. It is so easy to make and budget friendly. Like I said earlier, I'm a texture girly. So when it comes to sandwiches and a lot of other foods, I love it when it's crisp and like fresh. I do appreciate 콩나물국 when it's like the bean sprouts and onions and the green onions, like the crunch of it all. It's like so satisfying. Also, when the soup is going down on your GI tract, it feels very refreshing. I mean, it is unbeatable. So I can totally appreciate that. Especially when I don't feel well or have a severe tummy ache like I had the other day. The only thing that makes me feel even remotely alive is 콩나물국. It is life-bringing. It was the only thing on planet Earth that made me go from a fetal position to sitting in a chair normally. You know what I mean? It's restorative. There's something really calming about crushing a bowl of 콩나물국. Additionally, it's also known as the best hangover food in Korea. So if you add a pinch of gochugaru, a chili pepper for a slight kick, I swear it slaps. It slaps so hard. I think it's perfect for hangover. I think it's healthier than the other soup that exists, in my opinion. So it is definitely one of my comfort foods. So that's it. That's sort of my comfort foods, okay? You know, we covered a lot of things here, and I definitely missed a bunch of stuff too. I mean, there are so many foods I like that I couldn't share today. So I may or may not make a series where I share all my favorite foods in each category. It could be hangover foods, Korean foods, Mexican foods, American dishes, Italian dishes, whatever. I mean, the possibilities are endless here. So let me know if you're down to listen to it. But I think I'm going to talk about my coffee preference next time. What do you say? I mean, as a big coffee lover, I couldn't live without coffee. Coffee has always been a big part of my life. So yeah, I may share my coffee preference next time. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, new episodes of Love Being Alone every Thursday. You can stream anywhere you stream podcasts. You can follow Love Being Alone at Love Being Alone on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at YESLNX. Thank you all for listening and hanging out. It was my absolute pleasure, and I hope that you enjoyed it and had fun with me. And if you did, tune in next week. Talk to you soon. Bye.